So Brian, you couldn't be at the Spirit Garden today. What do you want to say to all the folks gathered there this morning?
Yeah, I wish I could have made it. I know it's going to be an excellent event. I hope the weather cooperates. I was really surprised when I got to see the site a couple of days ago, how much progress has made over the last few months, and it's really, really exciting. And I think everyone's going to have a great time there today.
Are there any members of the project team that you'd like to call out today?
Well, when I think of this project, it really all starts with the excellent work that's done at Council Fire. Andrew Christian, Theo Nazari, David Cherry, and everybody there does such excellent work that I'd really be remiss if I didn't start with them. The other part of the team that I want to make special mention to are the folks at Gow Hastings, Phil Hastings and Valerie Gow. We've worked with them on a number of projects, and we get along like family. Really, they've got a great staff, and to be able to work in partnership with this thing in ways, we have a very transparent kind of working relationship. There's a lot of camaraderie. There's a lot of innovation. So I would like to mention them. I also want to thank ButtCon for the great job that they've done constructing the place. Some of the details are pretty tricky. Some of the materials that we've chosen, the way they come together, it's not a simple project to build, and they've done a great job of execution. So that's important. I also want to thank Iqbal Briani from the city, who was our project manager and represented the city from the beginning to the end. He was so patient with us. He was had so much empathy. He showed so much support. I don't think we could have done the job without him.
In a recent quote, you stated that the Spirit Garden is both a seed and a portal. What did you mean by seed?
Well, I think if you want something to grow or a relationship to flourish, you first kind of have to plant that seed. And I think the project is kind of like that. It's like an important start to really build a strong relationship between the Indigenous community, the Indigenous service providers, and the city. And if you want that seed to grow and the relationship to flourish, it's something that you have to care for every year, year after year, through all of the seasons, through all of the 13 months of the calendar year. You need to work together. You need to nourish the place. You need to bring appropriate programming to it. So it'll be interesting to see how this seed takes roots and how it spreads and how it can foster other projects, how it can improve the relationship. And that's really kind of what reconciliation is about, I think.
What did you mean by portal?
Well, I think I understand that about 80% of all of the international visitors to Toronto, they've stated that they want to have an Indigenous experience. And to be able to have this place right on the front porch of the city of Toronto, I think is very, very important. Through this installation, they'll be able to get a glimpse into the rich traditional history that Indigenous people have. They'll learn about the relationship to the land. They'll learn about some of our customs, some of our traditions, some of our beliefs. And I think by getting that glimpse, hopefully it'll make them thirsty to experience more, and it'll act as a bit of a catalyst to get them out to visit some of the remote communities, to have those experiences, to get on the land, to get on the water. So I really see it can be kind of a portal for to promote those kinds of experiences, and that's good for Indigenous people. I think it's good for economic development. It makes a lot of sense for all of us to really kind of provide that service.
What are your hopes for the immediate future of the Spirit Garden?
Well, now that the place is constructed and ready for use, I would like to see cultural programming brought to the site that's meaningful, that's appropriate, and programming that's delivered by Council Fire and all of the excellent service providers, those Indigenous service providers in the city, Native Child and Family Services, Native Canadian Center of Toronto. All of those organizations can take the opportunity to use this site. I'd also like to see the mayor and the city councilors use the space when they need a secluded space to contemplate some of the decisions that they have to make. I mean, the atmosphere is going to be a lot more intimate than what they have in the current council chambers. So maybe they can take advantage of it too. I'd also like to see busloads of Indigenous students visit the site, to understand that they have an important place in society. They have a contribution to make, and they can really understand that the equity that they have in the social fabric of Toronto and Ontario.
What can other major cities across Canada learn from this project?
I think that it's possible to truly partner with the Indigenous community, its membership, its service providers, its artists to deliver these types of projects. I think they need to learn that starting is important. I think they need to learn that there are no more excuses to not get these things started. They need to learn to celebrate their rich cultural heritage and their natural history. So that there's much to learn from this project, and I really hope that it becomes a catalyst for projects in places like Ottawa and Montreal and Halifax and Winnipeg and Calgary and Edmonton and Vancouver. The time is now for those centers to all take the reins and get moving towards celebrating this important Indigenous history.